We're tracking rainfall that's moving out of the region now and heading towards the lake. More about that coming up for you in just a moment.
Right now this morning, the La Crosse Farmers Market could be looking at a new location. I'll have more info on the push for Pearl Street up next.
A new flu strain is spreading across Wisconsin. What health officials want you to know. Hundreds more ICE agents heading to the Twin Cities as immigration arrests climb into the thousands. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Alexandra Carter on this Tuesday, January 13th. It is 6 a.m. Time to get up, everyone. We'll send it over to meteorologist Art Jarrett. He's in the Weather Center tracking some snow over there.
Oh, Mom's trying to get my braces on right now. Hold on. Yeah, we have some snowfall in the process here. We have that up to the north right now. Eau Claire only picked up at least a trace of rainfall. They have winds gusts up right now up to about 48 miles per hour. They're also holding on to that trace I told you, but a little bit more rainfall is on the way for them as we finish out the morning. We could see some of that also tracking our way coming out of Rochester and eventually moving towards La Crosse as we get into the morning hours. And then maybe some snowfall later on is about a 20% chance of that occurring. So we also see that the weather alerts are pretty much out to the north and the east right now, going towards the lake. And eventually you're going to see as that goes, that's all going to expire as we go through the morning hours. Breezy winds right now for Eau Claire. You can see the flag waving in the distance there on the right. 41 degrees out there for you. 15-mile-per-hour winds sustained. 7 miles for La Crosse, and of course we have 42 degrees out there with Winona at 43 degrees currently and breezy. We'll hold on to those winds today, and then tomorrow we'll do similar conditions as well. We'll pick up those winds, similar conditions, holding on up to 14 to 17 miles per hour, but the gusts will be up to about 35. We'll get into lows this morning, holding on to 30s, widespread to the forecast, 38 for Prairie du Chien, and of course 37 for La Crosse, 32 for Eau Claire, and they've got the rainfall where everybody else doesn't have much. Yeah, you can see not much in the form of rainfall for La Crosse, but we could have that low chance. It's about a 20% chance of that happening. 38 to about 46 degrees leading into your afternoon with mostly cloudy skies on the way. We have partly cloudy skies for Eau Claire, a little bit of light rainfall possibly for the next hour, and then that should be it for them, holding on to cloudier skies into the afternoon. Back to you.
Thank you, Art. Now to the flu season, and it is hitting hard. Cases here at record-breaking rates. Grace Monk reports on a new strain and how it's impacting flu season.
Flu cases across the country have skyrocketed.
Current activity in Wisconsin is being designated by CDC and by us at the Department of Health as being very high activity.
More than 4,000 people in Wisconsin tested positive for influenza A during the last week of 2025. HELP says this is due to a new influenza A variant called H3N2 subclade K, which isn't covered by this year's flu shot.
H3 viruses are usually one of the most virulent or serious viruses of all the influenza viruses. So even a little protection is still worthwhile for people to get vaccinated.
One infection preventionist says the flu shot won't prevent you from getting sick, but it can help reduce the severity.
People tend to recover a lot faster, so that means less time spent off work or out of school for kids.
If you do get the flu, Meller says it's always good to visit a doctor, especially for people with chronic health conditions. If you choose to recover at home, Meller says over-the-counter pain relievers, fluids, and rest should do the trick.
Most people can stay at home and recover at home, which is one of the nice things about the flu.
If you're at home and your symptoms get worse, HELP says you should see a doctor right away.
That could be a sign of a bacterial infection, a secondary bacterial infection, which could be very serious.
Reporting in La Crosse, Grace Monk, News 8 Now this morning.
And along with the flu, COVID and RSV also on the rise across Wisconsin. La Crosse's Farmers Market, meanwhile, could be looking at a new location. News 8 Now Seth Padilla joins us with the latest on that. Good morning, Seth.
Good morning, Alexandra. The new location could be right where I'm standing, which is on Pearl Street, all the way from 2nd Street to 4th Street. Now, if approved, this would be the third move for the farmers market. And the Board of Public Works heard the proposal yesterday. It would run every Friday from May through October, all with the goal of improving the farmers market's presence and adding movement to downtown.
We do to revitalize the market and then also help downtown because we want to stay downtown. We don't want to go to Myrick. Visibility, okay? And after speaking with owners of businesses on Pearl Street and kind of providing these details, they agree that they would like it.
They will meet again with the Board of Public Works on January 26th, and we will be sure to update you on how that meeting goes. Reporting live in La Crosse, Seth Padilla, News 8 Now this morning.
All right, Seth, thank you for that update. And now we will take a live look at the White House this morning. President Trump heading to Detroit today, where he'll speak at the Detroit Economic Club. It comes as a new poll shows nearly 6 in 10 Americans disapprove of how he's handling the economy. And his administration facing a new lawsuit from Minnesota officials over ICE operations in that state. The Department of Homeland Security reports there have been more than 2,000 immigration arrests in Minnesota over the past month. DHS is sending hundreds of additional agents to the Twin Cities, adding to the roughly 2,400 already there.
The agitators and the rioters here in Minneapolis need to understand that our operations will continue unabated despite the violence they perpetrate against law enforcement.
Last week, an ICE officer fatally shot a U.S. citizen in Minneapolis. Now to a News 8 follow-up tied to the Baby Angel cold case. The suspect wants the charges against her dropped. Jennifer Beckley is allegedly tied to the 2011 infant death. That infant, known as Baby Angel, was found in a bag in the Mississippi River near Winona. DNA evidence reportedly tied her to the crime. Her attorney says the state's case lacks evidence. One of the 5 accused in a sweepstakes scam, taking nearly $500,000, waiving her preliminary hearing. Fedar Rockhead faces theft charges after prosecutors say she helped run a fake sweepstakes scheme. Police say the couple, both in their 70s, sent more than $360,000 in cash and gift cards, believing they'd won Publishers Clearinghouse. Rockhead is held on $1 million cash bond. La Crosse's Chamber of Commerce holding its first forum of 2026. It invited city administrators from Onalaska and Viroqua to discuss how that role would work here in La Crosse.
Oversee the day-to-day operations. So when it comes to coordinating the efforts of different departments in regards to the resources that we have to use, each department doesn't necessarily know what the other is doing at all times. So having some of that knowledge, when a department wants to do something, I can coordinate with what other departments are doing as well.
The ordinance to add a city administrator will go before City Council in February. A chimney fire spreading to a home on Cliffside Drive in La Crosse last night. Crews were called out about 8:40 and found fire spreading to the roof and siding. Crews were able to knock it down and no reports of injuries.
Crews got here pretty quickly, made a quick fire attack, and we had crews checking inside, checking outside, and then as you can see behind me, the ladder up on the roof to really get at the roof portion. A lot easier.
The cause of the fire is under investigation. The Boys and Girls Club on La Crosse's north side is opening a new space to help teens figure out their futures. News 8 Now's JDS McGee takes us inside.
The Boys and Girls Club is putting real resources into its youth with a new space designed to help prepare kids for life beyond just a classroom. The Boys and Girls Club on the north side is getting ready to open a new workforce readiness center designed to help teens explore career options and identify their strengths.
It's really to bring kids into this center and find out what are they passionate about, what are they good at, and what does a future look like in that industry.
Rather than sitting in a traditional classroom, teens here will learn by doing, working with their hands across various industries.
When you make something, there's a feeling of fulfillment from that, I think, and I think it just kind of leads to wanting to do more.
And leaders say the excitement is already building, with kids eager to step into a space designed strictly for them.
They can't wait to get into this space. They can't wait to be into a space like this that's not only beautiful, but it'll be set up like you're going to work.
The Workforce Readiness Center is expected to be open as early as this upcoming spring. Reporting in La Crosse, JD McGee, News 8 Now.
Wisconsin Eye is trying to get back on the airwaves. The nonprofit, which provides the only live, unfiltered coverage of state government, shut down last month after running out of money. It's now launched a GoFundMe hoping to raise $250,000. Amplify Health by Gunderson reaching its $5.2 million fundraising goal to open Wisconsin's first empath unit. That will provide specialized crisis care for behavioral health patients. They will meet with clinicians and receive comprehensive care plans.
It's a heartwarming moment for all of us at the foundation to know the generosity of this community has made this moment possible. We know that patients are going to get the care they need in this transformational space because the community stepped up to support through philanthropic gifts.
Located in the Behavioral Health Building, the facility is expected to open by early spring. Some local kids getting a look at the Civil Air Patrol last night. The lacrosse squadron hosted an info session for families with kids ages 12 to 18. The cadet program offers leadership training, aerospace education, and fitness programs.
Ultimately, we're about creating dynamic American aerospace leaders. And so what we want to do is create young men and women of character and provide them the tools so they can go on to be leaders of men and women. At the same time, we're doing that within an aerospace environment. So we've always said, if you're an airplane nerd, we're the place for you.
The evening included a hands-on F-16 flight simulator experience to give future cadets a taste of the organization's aviation focus. And the Packers busy cleaning out their lockers yesterday, but head coach Matt LaFleur is not going anywhere. ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting the team's looking to extend his contract. He has about a year left on his current deal. LaFleur has gone 76-40-1 with Green Bay, making the playoffs 6 of 7 seasons, despite Saturday's collapse against the Bears. Time now is 6:11. Still to come, Trump hitting Iran with some new tariffs. A deal to lower drug prices, and Meta cuts jobs to focus on AI. And more schools are teaching kids how to manage money, what students are learning. For now, we're sending you to break with something to put the good in your morning. It is Orthodox Christmas in Russia, and the ice sculptures are stunning. You see one right there. Here's some more. Saints and angels being carved from ice, welcoming visitors outside of the church. And there's the man at work. And as you start to wake up this morning, we'll leave you with a quick wake-up call with Utschild Holland in the Netherlands. That is a historic fishing village on the Dutch island of Texel. Stay with us. Your morning consumer news is after this. In your morning consumer news, President Trump is slapping 25% tariffs on any country doing business with Iran. That comes as protests rock that country. A human rights group says more than 500 demonstrators have been killed in a government crackdown. And President Trump announcing a deal to lower some drug prices. Drug maker AbbVie says it'll offer certain medications at the lowest price available in peer countries to both Medicaid patients and consumers. The deal includes a glaucoma and thyroid medication. Meta will cut about 10% of its metaverse division, roughly 1,500 jobs. The layoffs could begin as early as today. The company says it's shifting focus toward AI. And MSP favorite Sun Country Airlines announcing a merger with Allegiant. The deal is worth $1.5 billion. Sun Country says its customers do not have to rebook already scheduled flights, and the two airlines will combine their loyalty rewards programs. More public high schools across this country are requiring students to take a basic financial literacy course. Jen Sullivan explains what students are learning and how it can prepare them for the future.
From balancing a budget to learning how loans work, exposing your kids to financial life skills can help prepare them for the future.
We want to make sure that we have these basic skills to then adapt.
Billy Hensley is the president and CEO of the National Endowment for Financial Education. They work with local school districts across the country to incorporate financial literacy classes into their classrooms.
When I was young, we didn't talk about money in my home. We didn't talk about it in college. And when I got my first job, I had no idea how to navigate the benefits, the 401k, the match.
The NEFE conducted a survey last spring and found 82% of respondents who attended high school say they wish they were required to complete a personal finance class when they were in school. Topping the list of skills they wish they had learned, spending and budgeting, followed by saving, earning an income, and managing credit. At least 30 states, seen in green on this map, now have a financial education requirement. The orange states have a partial requirement.
In some states, actually, the requirement actually requires FAFSA, which is the form you have to fill out to get financial aid and student loans. A certain level of literacy is part of the financial education course.
Many college graduates are already facing the financial burden of loans. The Department of Education estimates current total student loan debt has topped $1.6 trillion. Hensley says these classes will help students better understand how these loans work. He hopes more states will adopt these courses.
That's a look at your consumer news. We'll send it over now to News 8 meteorologist Art Jarrett. He's got an update on our weather. Hello.
Hey, good morning to you, Alexandra. As we go into it today, rainfall swept through the region earlier this morning, and now it's starting to work its way towards the river. Still a big batch up along the northern portion of the area, though, up the state as we get into it with the wintry mix there, getting north of Ladysmith along I-94. We'll also get into breezy, gusty conditions today and tomorrow as well, as we get into winds up to 40 miles per hour, possibly gusting today, and then about 35-mile-per-hour gusting winds tomorrow. Then snowfall kicks in as we go into Thursday. That continues all the way through Friday, Saturday, and possibly into early morning on Sunday. So let's take a look at what's happening here. There's that area of low pressure that's associated with it. That's keeping all that rain and snow continuous all up in the region there, mixing in that rain and snow mix there, going towards Eau Claire with another batch of rainfall for them. They have about a trace thus far, and we're looking at maybe about 1/10 of an inch pretty much in the region there. Not a lot of rainfall hitting the ground there as we have these warm temperatures out there as well. Temperatures right now in the 30s and the 20s currently, and getting into the 40s as we get into the afternoon. You'll hold on to that dry slot right there as well. There's also drier air that's associated with this as well. And then to the north, there's colder air and then milder air down to the south. And that continues to work in the area. And that kind of deletes a lot of that rainfall getting towards the south. That being said, you can see it right here all the way from Vegas coming out of LA as well, working to Albuquerque, New Mexico, getting into the panhandle there for Texas, and then right back into areas by Oklahoma, Memphis as well, getting through Tennessee, and then right back into our region. You're holding on some drier air, still getting pulled up by that area of high pressure and pushing that in our area. We'll also see as we go into it here, you see it kind of getting dragged up to the north and working into Ladysmith as well, holding on to drier air. And then up to the south, you've got all that moisture that continuously continues to move up there, also over the Great Lakes and then continuing in Canada as well. That continues to tick out as we go right into the 9 o'clock hour. Temperatures are in the 30s, taking us into the afternoon, holding on to the possibility of this. You're still seeing those 30s up there, a little bit of light snow still hanging up there north of Ladysmith, and continue to try to drop down, ushering in some cloudy skies to clearing skies. Slowly but surely, we'll see more clouds come back again in the overnight hours, with snowfall trying to get down to La Crosse, all the way down to Winona as well, and then getting into areas by Richland Center, and then holding on to Viroqua, all the way down to Prairie du Chien and Boscobel. And then we're done with that. We take it into Wednesday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Temperatures are in the teens, and eventually we'll bump those numbers up, holding on to at least about 8 degrees up there. You can see all the way about 8 to 14 degrees, excuse me. Then you'll see again temperatures bumping up, even though with snow on the way going into Thursday. You saw those 20s and 30s in there. You'll hold on to the possibility of that kicking in with the first round of snowfall, and that continues to track out gradually. As it does, it has another break coming in. That's going to be a dry slot, and that continues to push in more snowfall coming back again for the 8 o'clock hour going to the evening hours. So we have it during the afternoon, the evening hours, and then trying to come back again with another dry slot and bringing more snow in the process. Thursday, picking up at least 1 to about 4 inches of snowfall. Saturday kicks in. We have a 90% chance of snow in the morning, a 90% chance of snow at night as well. I should say in the afternoon going into the nighttime as well. And that's going to bring in some good looking snowfall. And that's probably about an additional 3, maybe 4 inches of snowfall to drop in the area. That continues to go all the way to Sunday, and that goes in the morning hours. So what we're looking at today, rainfall kicking out of the area back towards the lake as a 20% chance. And we're drier now for Wednesday. We do have that overnight snowfall potential that I just showed you. About a 20% chance of that happening. It's really not going to hit the ground and cause a lot of accumulation. 70% chance we go into Thursday, turning into at least a about an 80-90% chance of that going into the area in the morning for Friday. And that continues for Friday in the nighttime as well, in the daytime, with a 90% chance going right back into the morning for Saturday as a 40% chance to a 60% chance of that happening. 30% chance in the daytime for Saturday, then about a 40% chance going in from Saturday night going into your Sunday morning, and a 20% chance in the daytime, with colder conditions working all the way through the weekend, teens pretty much all the way into Monday and Tuesday of next week. Back to you.
Thank you, Art. Still ahead this morning, nearly 800,000 Americans have a stroke every year. What health experts report most survivors aren't doing fast enough, and more teens going to AI chatbots for answers. What experts are recommending to make sure your kids are using it safely.
We're getting deeper and deeper into the high school hoops season. Highlights from a couple area games, plus some schools gathering for a girls wrestling meet up in Black River Falls. All that coming up in the Blitz. Welcome into the Blitz. Well, we've hit the second full week of January, so that means we're into the middle portion of most high school hoop schedules. Still time to turn things around if you started out slow, or keep momentum going if things are on the right track. Good example of that in this one as Arcadia was visiting Aquinas and it was raining threes in the Reinhardt Athletic Center. Logan Becker hits one to make it a 10-point lead, but the Raiders were having success from downtown and early in this one too. Trevor Pronshinsky buries one, and then moments later it's Pronshinsky again with a pretty shot from downtown. The home side just had too much firepower as Finley Strom gives it up and gets it back, and he will rip the cords. And Will Dickinson would get in on the fun as well, drilling one from the corner right there. Aquinas goes on to win it 73-32. Another non-conference game in Westby with Cashton in town. The Norsemen would start the game with a ton of intensity on the defensive side. Jaden Johnson takes it in for two, and a few buckets later, it's Johnson finding Griffin Nelson, who muscles it up and in to go up by 10. Then another steal by Everett Hoven, who finds his brother Anders, capping off a 17-4 run by the Norsemen. And then more great defensive plays and finding their three-point shot from beyond the arc would help the home side end the first half up by 26. Westby goes on to take down the Eagles 87-39 at home. We've got some girls wrestling action up at Black River Falls. A bunch of great athletes taking the mat, including the defending state champion and #1 ranked wrestler in her weight in the country, Riley Hanrahan. She was showing why she's one of the best. Just so quick right off the whistle, gets the takedown, and she would eventually get the fall, making it look easy. Westby's Kylie Klum, a multiple-time state qualifier, scoreless in the first, but Klum would get the action started with a takedown and eventually get the fall. GET Melman's Peyton Craig with one of the best moves on the night right here. Hits the fireman's carry, taking her opponent right to her back as she eventually secures the pin and the win. And we'll end with Arcadia's Kelsey Sabata. After an early takedown, she sees an opening for a half Nelson, and that is tight. Gets the pin. Huge shout out to all the girls who have brought this sport along so far in just a couple of years. All right, that's going to be all for this morning edition of your Blitz. Hope you'll stop by for some more fun later tonight.
Rainfall heading east to the lake, and we're going to get warmer with some breezy winds today. More about that coming up in just a moment.
Right now this morning, the La Crosse Farmers Market could be looking at a new location. I'll have more info on the push for Pearl Street up next.
A new flu strain is spreading across Wisconsin. What health officials want you to know. And AI is everywhere, including your kid's classroom. The concerns parents should know about. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Alexandra Herter. On this Tuesday, January 13th, it is 6:31. We'll send it over first thing to meteorologist Art Jarrett. He is tracking some potential snow for us in our forecast. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning to you. Good to see you again. As we get right back into it here, we're going to hold on to some breezy and gusty winds today. A wintry mix up to the north there by I-94. And once we get into Thursday, snow starts to pick up, carrying over all the way into your Saturday and through the weekend, possibly as we go through Saturday and then just into Sunday morning, and a low chance getting into the afternoon on Sunday. Hey, the rainfall right now holding on to a mix of rain and snow, and of course we're seeing some ice associated with that as well, getting into that pink. You see that patch continuing to move just along Rusk County to the north. We're also finding out that we are drying out down to the south for now, but we could see a little batch coming back again as we go deeper into the late morning hours into the afternoon. You're seeing all the alerts pretty much over to the east right now, and that's pretty much for the morning, finishing out because of the rainfall and the mix of rain and snow that's associated with that, and slick roadways. So people that are trying to get to work, it's just about hazardous roadways. We're going to find ourselves with 40s right now, and of course the breezy and gusty winds that will pick up as we go through the afternoon, and then continuing on all the way into tomorrow as well. Gusts will be up to about 40 miles per hour today. As far as gusts are concerned, tomorrow they'll be up to about 35 miles per hour gusting. And as we get into it, showing you how this all plays out, lows this morning will be in the widespread 30s today, from 32 all the way up to 38 degrees, 37 for La Crosse, 34 for Eau Claire. As we get into it, sunshine will remain, holding on as we go right into the afternoon and then turning into cloudier skies. And of course, Eau Claire will keep that cloudiness, getting into a quick glimmer of sunshine. Then those clouds come back again in the afternoon with the 40s. Back to you.
Thank you, Art. Now to the flu season. It is hitting hard this year. Cases here are at record levels. News 8 Now's Grace Monk reports on a new strain and how it is impacting the season.
Flu cases across the country have skyrocketed.
Current activity in Wisconsin is being designated by CDC and by us at the Department of Health as being very high activity.
More than 4,000 people in Wisconsin tested positive for influenza A during the last week of 2025. HALP says this is due to a new influenza A variant called H3N2 subclade K, which isn't covered by this year's flu shot.
H3 viruses are usually one of the most virulent or serious viruses of all the influenza viruses. So even a little protection is still worthwhile for people to get vaccinated.
One infection preventionist says the flu shot won't prevent you from getting sick, but it can help reduce the severity.
People tend to recover a lot faster, so that means less time spent off work or out of school for kids.
If you do get the flu, Meller says it's always good to visit a doctor, especially for people with chronic health conditions. If you choose to recover at home, Meller says over-the-counter pain relievers, fluids, and rest should do the trick.
Most people can stay at home and recover at home, which is one of the nice things about the flu.
If you're at home and your symptoms get worse, HALP says you should see a doctor right away.
That could be a sign of a bacterial infection, a secondary bacterial infection, which could be very serious.
Reporting in La Crosse, Grace Monk, News 8 Now this morning.
Along with the flu, COVID, and RSV are also on the rise across the state. La Crosse's Farmers Market, meanwhile, could be looking at another new location. News 8 Now Seth Padilla is live with those details for us. Good morning, Seth.
Good morning, Alexandra. The new location could be right where I'm standing on Pearl Street, all the way from 2nd Street to 4th Street. Now, if this were to be approved, this would be the third move for the market. The Board of Public Works heard the proposal yesterday, and it would run every Friday from May through October, all with the goal of improving the farmers market's presence and adding movement to the downtown.
We do to revitalize the market and then also help downtown because we want to stay downtown. We don't want to go to Myrick. Visibility, okay? And after speaking with owners of businesses on Pearl Street and kind of providing these details, they agree that they would like it.
They will meet again with the Board of Public Works on January 26th, and we'll be sure to update you on how that meeting goes. Reporting live in La Crosse, Seth Padilla, News 8 Now this morning.
All right, Seth, thank you for that update. Now we'll move on to some other headlines this morning as we take a live look at the White House. President Trump is heading to Detroit today to speak at the Detroit Economic Club. That comes as a new Quinnipiac poll shows nearly 6 in 10 Americans disapprove of how he's handling the economy. That as the administration facing a new lawsuit from Minnesota over ICE being in that state. The Department of Homeland Security reports more than 2,000 immigration arrests in Minnesota over the past month. DHS is sending hundreds of additional agents to the Twin Cities, adding to the roughly 2,400 already working in the area.
The agitators and the rioters here in Minneapolis need to understand that our operations will continue unabated despite the violence they perpetrate against law enforcement.
Last week, an ICE officer fatally shot a U.S. citizen in Minneapolis. And the suspect in the Baby Angel case wants the charges against her dropped. Jennifer Beckley, allegedly tied to the 2011 death of an infant known as Baby Angel, was found in a bag in the Mississippi River. DNA evidence reportedly tied Beckley to the crime. Her attorney says the state's case lacks evidence. One of the 5 accused in the sweepstakes scam, taking nearly $500,000, waiving her preliminary hearing. Fedar Rockhead faces theft charges after prosecutors say she helped run a fake sweepstakes scheme. Police say the couple, both in their 70s, sent more than $360,000 in cash and gift cards, believing they'd won Publishers Clearinghouse. Rockhead is held on a $1 million cash bond. 4 others are charged, 2 in custody, 2 still wanted. La Crosse Chamber of Commerce held its first forum of 2026. It invited city administrators from Onalaska and Viroqua to talk about how that role would look here in La Crosse.
Oversee the day-to-day operations. So when it comes to coordinating the efforts of different departments in regards to the resources that we have to use, each department doesn't necessarily know what the other's doing at all times. So having some of that knowledge, when a department wants to do something, I can coordinate with what other departments are doing as well.
The ordinance to add a city administrator will go before City Council next month. A chimney fire spread to a home on Cliffside Drive in La Crosse last night. Crews were called around 8:40 and found fire spreading to the roof and siding. Crews were able to knock that down and no reports of injuries.
Crews got here pretty quickly, made a quick fire attack, and we had crews checking inside, checking outside, and then as you can see behind me, the ladder up on the roof to really get at the roof portion. a lot easier.
The cause of the fire is under investigation. The Boys and Girls Club on La Crosse's north side opening a new space to help teens figure out their future. News 8 Now's JDS McGee takes us inside.
The Boys and Girls Club is putting real resources into its youth with a new space designed to help prepare kids for life beyond just a classroom. The Boys and Girls Club on the north side is getting ready to open a new workforce readiness center designed to help teens explore career options and identify their strengths.
It's really to bring kids into this center and find out what are they passionate about, what are they good at, and what does a future look like in that industry.
Rather than sitting in a traditional classroom, teens here will learn by doing, working with their hands across various industries.
When you make something, there's a feeling of fulfillment from that, I think, and I think it just kind of leads to wanting to do more.
And leaders say the excitement is already building, with kids eager to step into a space designed strictly for them.
They can't wait to get into this space. They can't wait to be into a space like this that's not only beautiful, but it'll be set up like you're going to work.
The Workforce Readiness Center is expected to be open as early as this upcoming spring. Reporting in La Crosse, JD McGee, News 8 Now.
And Wisconsin Eye is trying to get back on the air. The nonprofit, which provides the only live, unfiltered coverage of state government, shut down last month after running out of money. It's now launched a GoFundMe, hoping to raise $250,000. And Amplify by Gunderson reaching its $5.2 million fundraising goal to open Wisconsin's first empath unit. That will provide specialized crisis care for behavioral health patients. They'll meet with clinicians and receive comprehensive care plans.
It's a heartwarming moment for all of us at the foundation to know the generosity of this community has made this moment possible. We know that patients are going to get the care they need in this transformational space because the community stepped up to support through philanthropic gifts.
Located in the Behavioral Health Building, the facility is expected to open by early spring. Every year, nearly 800,000 Americans have a stroke, and getting help fast can save lives. Quick treatment can stop blood clots and limit brain damage. But a new study suggests some patients aren't getting that care in time.
Every minute delay can translate to worse outcomes.
Dr. Mann says it's also important to call an ambulance right after a stroke to get started on that emergency care rather than waiting in the emergency department. AI is changing how kids learn, but how safe is it? Michael Yoshida takes a look at the impact on teens.
AI chatbots are becoming a bigger part of teens' lives. Last year, nearly 3 in 10 teens reported using them, quote, almost constantly, according to a Pew Research Center study.
AI chatbots are very much our new reality. They're being used by everybody for every imaginable purpose.
AI may seem like it knows just about everything, but experts say that isn't the case.
These AI chatbots are not oracles of truth. They can get information wrong more often than you may think.
They're also friendly and designed for engagement, which CNET's Caitlin Shadrawi warns it may just tell you what you want to hear.
When people express worldviews that are potentially harmful or dangerous, these chatbots do not have the ability to effectively push back against those worldviews.
This can be particularly harmful to young people who are still developing emotionally and intellectually and may believe what the bot says, even if its response is wrong or its advice is dangerous.
Our use of social media tells a story of what happens when we're not mindful of how these technologies can influence children and their development.
Pediatrician Joanna Parga-Balinki says there are ways parents can help their kids adapt to this new tech.
Think about your family values and what works for your family.
Be curious and open-minded. Learn how and where your child uses chatbots for school, fun, or something else. Understand what they like or enjoy and try them together.
See what kind of responses it comes back with. And when you do that and you engage with the child, that allows for teachable moments with this type of technology.
In Washington, Michael Yoshida.
That was a look at your medical news this morning. Coming up in your Buzz Report, a new film explores the challenges veterans face coming home. Sheepdog in theaters Friday. We've got a preview for you next.
Well, good morning to you and welcome back here. Getting to a wintry mix well up to the north along I-90. In fact, well north of that, going all the way up farther north of the Ladysmith as well, where that mix is continuing to go over the areas right by the Great Lakes and then working eastward out of the region gradually. Breezy conditions today as well as tomorrow. We're also seeing some warmer conditions today. We'll hold on to temperatures getting up to about 40 to 50 miles per hour, 40 to 50 degrees in some cases. And eventually as you get into tomorrow, those winds will continue to get up to about 40 miles per hour or less in the forecast, possibly around 35 miles per hour for some of the strongest wind gusts, and then tapering off. We'll get into, once again, you get into snowfall kicking in for Thursday and going all the way into possibly Sunday right now as this continues to build as we roll into it. Maybe about 3 inches of snowfall coming in for the possibility for your Thursday, maybe up a wee bit more, up to 4 inches plus. We're seeing right now rainfall going from Eau Claire, getting out of the region, heading towards Wausau, and drier conditions down to the south with increasing cloud cover down to the south as well. But I suspect another batch right about there coming towards the Twin Cities and then going towards Rochester will bring in some more rainfall for La Crosse. We have the drier air right now kind of moving into this area of low pressure that continues to drive right through into the lake. As we see that getting out of the way, you can see the drier air that's working away all the way from Vegas, Los Angeles as well, Albuquerque, and then continuing to Memphis, and then continuing on to lift up as it goes over to the East Coast. But some of that's getting pulled up to the north as well, due by high pressure. You can see why we're going to get some good looking snow coming all the way from Friday going to Saturday as well. Some decent snowfall continuing on from Saturday night, carrying over into Sunday as well with the possibility of that. But you can see it also, the warmer air is coming back and encroaching upon us from the south. We'll also hold on to this though. Getting into highs for Tuesday, we're looking at 40s widespread to near 50 degrees down to the south at 49 degrees for you. And once you get into it here, you'll see that rainfall slowly but surely getting out of the way up to the north by Ladysmith, and then stays up to the north up there for some locations, continue to swirl up there as we go right into the remainder of the day, holding on all the way up to the north. You can see by the Great Lakes and continues on. Some of that drops down a little bit more so as we get into Tuesday, into the evening hours, to your evening commute, working with more clouds on the way, crossing the river, bringing in a mix of rain and snow once we get in the middle of the overnight hours here by 2 o'clock or so, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, right by La Crosse, getting into areas by Winona, down to the south as well from Prairie du Chien and Boscobel, also getting into West Salem, areas right by Holman as well. More snow still up to the north there as we go right into your Wednesday, and we had drier conditions with breezy and gusty winds holding on to those teens back in the forecast to the low 20s. As that happens, we go all the way through your Thursday with the clouds coming in from the west and continues on with a batch of snowfall kicking through the area, crosses the river, comes around about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and stays with us all the way into the early portions of the evening commute. Then another batch comes back again as we go deeper now. This is showing at 9 o'clock. Earlier was about a half an hour or less or earlier, and that continues to move right across the region for us as well, followed by more snowfall possibly coming back again to carry over into your Saturday night. Holding on to, I should say Saturday morning, you're holding on to maybe 2 to 4 inches of snow up to the north for La Crosse, and southward you're looking at 1 to 2 inches there as well, up to areas by Black River Falls and Sparta, 2 to 4 inches. We'll get into more rain or snowfall kicking into the forecast as we go through Saturday. That continues to linger over by the river and then back to La Crosse and then out to the east and down. And in fact, you'll see that continue to try to get into Sunday. So what's happening? We have a 20% chance of rainfall and snowfall mix trying to get down to the south for us. A little bit higher up to the north once you get to areas by Ladysmith and Eau Claire. They have at least about a 40% chance of that happening. Turning into sunshine for tomorrow. Temperatures will be more seasonal for tomorrow. Then we go into snowfall coming in for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then turning into early Sunday morning with drier conditions coming into the afternoon, with of course colder conditions to follow.
In your Morning Buzz report, Mattel is launching its first Barbie with autism. The doll comes with noise-canceling headphones to reduce sensory overload, a communication tablet, and a fidget spinner that actually spins. Mattel says it's designed to reflect the experiences of people on the spectrum. 28 years later is returning to theaters with a sequel. That movie shows the life of Dr. Ian Kelson in a post-apocalyptic world. His character relies on his survival instincts in the aftermath of a virus outbreak while constructing bone temples to memorialize the dead. That film heads to theaters Friday.
You lose your morality when you go to war. And the hard part is coming back to a civilian society that doesn't have any idea what's going on in your head.
Writer
Sheepdog follows a soldier struggling to adjust to civilian life while dealing with a new therapist and a father-in-law fresh out of prison. That hits theaters Friday. Before we head to break, it's time to look at today's Look Who's 8.
All right, Nova's 8 months. She likes sweet potatoes and jumping in her jumper.
And Beverly is 8 weeks. She loves smiling, as you see there, and being with her family.
Little cutie. All right, if you know a special someone turning 8 weeks, 8 months, 8 years, 18, 80, or 88 years old soon, we'd love to feature them.
Just upload their photo to our website, news8000.com, and look for that Submit Pictures button. Stay with us. We have everything you need to know in 5 minutes or less. Your Morning News Now is up next.
The La Crosse Farmers Market could be coming to Pearl Street for its new location, all the way between 2nd Street and 4th Street. If approved, this would be the third move for the market. The Board of Public Works heard the proposal yesterday. It would run every Friday from May through October, all with the goal of improving the farmers market's presence and adding movement to downtown. They will meet again with the Board of Public Works on January 26th, and we will be sure to update you on how that meeting goes. Reporting live in La Crosse, Seth Padilla, News 8 Now This Morning.
Health officials say flu activity is very high across Wisconsin, and a new strain is to blame. They say an influenza A variant called H3N2 is driving the surge. Activity is higher than this time last year. Experts say we could be at the peak, but it's too early to tell.
We don't know what's going to happen over the coming weeks. It's very hard to really predict these things. But for this time of year, we are seeing, as I said, very high activity both in our state and national surveillance.
He says the flu shot won't protect from that new strain, but it can reduce the severity of the illness. And business in the front, party in the back, a competition to crown the best. More than 1,000 people showed up for a mullet contest at the Pennsylvania Farm Show. About 150 competitors showed off their cuts, including one skullet on a balding man. Judges scored style, accessories, and representation. Some of those are very long, very impressive art. And you could go for the skullet.
The skull, yeah, of course I'd win. I'd win, I can win. Hey, we get into it for today. We're looking at least 40s widespread to near 50 degrees. Then we get into tomorrow, you're looking at temperatures dropping some 20 to 15, some 25 to 15 degrees in some cases, holding on to temperatures again widespread in the teens to at least 25 degrees. We'll hold on to snow tracker popping in. We'll see at least 1 to 2 inches of snowfall popping in for La Crosse, 2 to 4 for mostly everybody else. And eventually you get into how this all shapes up, holding on to more of that snowfall for your Friday, Saturday, and possibly Sunday morning.
All right, Art, we're about to take another dip.
A little bit.
That was my dip sound effect.
Well, that was nice.
Thank you for that, Art. Looks nice out there now, though.
Sure does. And
Thanks
it's cold,
for
too.
joining us this morning. Bundle up out there.